Did you know that 1 in 4 Americans is estranged from at least one member of their family of origin? And if we also consider that it takes on average 7 attempts to leave a toxic relationship, that number is likely to continue to grow as more and more people start realizing their self worth and feeling empowered enough to set boundaries to protect their health and wellness. Now, that being said, not everyone has the opportunity to go no contact or self estrange for a variety of reasons. And if you are one of those people who finds yourself maybe going to a Mother's Day event this weekend, and you know you're either going to be in a place that triggers you or you're going to be around people that trigger you, this video is for you. I'm going to share with you 4 techniques that you can use in real time. You can use it before, during, and after any sort of event to calm and regulate your nervous system. Now, that being said, if you are estranged from any sort of member of your family, any sort of friendship, what have you, this video can also help you because when we have trauma triggers, they sometimes bubble up and we're not exactly expecting them. So these are going to be 4 techniques that you can really use anytime, anywhere to get back in touch with yourself, to kind of soothe your inner child and make sure that the adult you is running this show, not your inner child. So the first technique that I like to use with my clients is shaking. And this is something that I see my dog do a lot. Whenever he's absorbing energy, because I believe that's what dogs do, they're kind of these like energetic shamans who absorb a lot of our anxiety and stress, they shake it off. They go back outside, they go on the ground, they reconnect, they ground themselves literally, and they just kind of shake it out. Now, we can do that before, during, and after a party by literally just kind of shaking. You can shake your hands, you can shake your arms, you can shake your legs, you can shake your butt. And by doing this, we're releasing anxiety. We're also kind of physically exhausting ourselves. And if you're physically exhausted or if you're emotionally exhausted, sometimes the little things just can't get to you because you don't have the bandwidth for it. So if we are physically exhausting ourselves, if we're shaking that out, if we're getting in touch with our body, if we're grounding, we're not leaving a lot of space of room for that anxiety, the, oh my God, what ifs. So that's one technique that you can use. If you get triggered at a party, let's say, and the shaking technique is something that works for you, you can excuse yourself and go to the bathroom and shake it out. If there are kids that happen to be there and you feel comfortable doing so, you can invite them to shake with you and make it almost look like you're doing a dance of some kind. And if you want to, you can put on some music too. And that actually brings me to the second technique that I like to recommend that my clients use, which is a technique called swamping. And with swamping, this is a technique where you're going to want to listen and dance to at least 3 songs. The first song is a song that is going to be very aggressive. So I want you to listen to some sort of song that makes you punch, squat, kick, growl, roar, really just let out that inner rage, that inner angst, those feelings of like, how fucking dare you, that kind of energy. The second song that I want you to dance to is much more slow, sensual, emotional. This is an opportunity to slow down, to really connect with our body in a way where we can explore feelings like sadness, grief. We can cry. We can move nice and gently, lyrically, and we can take our time and just kind of reconnect with that feminine energy. We can remember that we are safe, that everything is going to be okay. We can let go, we can grieve. And then last but not least, the third song is a song where it's all about empowerment. So think about what kind of music you would play when you're trying to get ready for a night out, you're trying to get ready for maybe a date night of some kind. What makes you feel empowered? What makes you feel confident? That's the kind of song I want you to dance to. Those are the dance moves that I want you to explore with the third song. So the first song is an angry angst, let out that inner rage, aggression. The second song is all about letting go of sadness, of grief, of really feeling our feelings. And then the third song is a song that helps you remember who the fuck you are. And it helps you feel confident, empowered, and feeling like you can do anything. The third technique is a technique called havening. And this is a more subtle technique that helps calm our nervous system. So what we do with this one is we just want to take our fingertips and nice and slowly, we just kind of touch our hands, touch our wrist, down to our forearm. And I like this technique because if you're somebody who feels anxious, let's say like you don't want to swamp at a party, you don't want to shake at a party or anything, you really kind of want to blend in, be a lot more subtle. This is a technique that really, if you wanted to, you could grab lotion and make it look like you're just putting on lotion. It's also a technique where you can work with your partner. So let's say your partner is someone who can kind of sense when you're about to be triggered or you are triggered. What they can do, and you have to coach them a little bit on this, is just lightly start caressing your arm. And that might be a signal to you, like, let's do some havening. Let's take some deep breaths and just kind of remember who the fuck we are. Remember that our inner child is not running the show, that we are safe, we're enough, we're worthy. And just take your time with this. Go nice and slow. It kind of reminds me of this technique of if you've ever had your back scratched or massaged and you just kind of start to fall asleep. It's kind of that same thing. It's a very self-soothing, just gentle reminder that everything is going to be okay. And if you need to with havening too, this is kind of more related to swamping or shaking even, but you can always move your hips in like a very slow circle, just kind of go nice and around, because that's another way that we can signal to our nervous system that we're safe, that everything is fine. There's no need to panic, no need for that cortisol to start rising. So those are the 3 techniques. I have one last one for you. I actually have a prop for this one. So I like to use costume jewelry, specifically like faux pearls. And you can use this as a necklace. You can wrap it around your wrist as a bracelet. I've also had clients who use a rosary. Some use malala beads or some other kind of spiritual prayer beads. The point is you want to have a lot of beads on whatever it is you're using, because what we're going to do before we go anywhere is we're going to say a mantra on each and every one of these beads. Now you want to pick a mantra that means something to you. So for me personally, I like to use the Ho'opono prayer. So I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And you want to go around on each and every single one of these beads and say your mantra, whatever it may be. Now, the reason that we're doing that is because when we're saying this mantra ahead of time, we're in a clear, confident space. We're feeling empowered. We're feeling protective and loving ourselves. We are aware of our worth, that we are enough, and we are baking all of that energy, all of that love into the beads. So if you're at a party, and let's say you have this wrapped around your wrist, somebody walks into the room you were not expecting, or maybe you were expecting them and they still just trigger whatever it is out of you, or you're finding yourself at a childhood location that is quite triggering. So anybody who has experienced this before knows, like, sometimes things just bubble up, and as best as we try to prepare, we just are still triggered. So what you would want to do is you want to take this off, and then you just start saying your mantra on every one of those beads. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And you go around each and every single one of these beads. By the time you finish, usually before you finish, you're going to start to feel better. You're going to start to feel empowered again. And the best part is you're going to feel like somebody caught you, and that person who caught you is you. What an amazing feeling, right? So those are 4 techniques you can use. You can use shaking. You can use swamping with the 3 different songs, the angry, aggressive song, the emotional, grieving, sadness, let it all out song, and the confident, remember who the fuck you are song. You can use the havening technique, or you can use mantra beads. And remember, with all of this, you can always excuse yourself to go to the bathroom and do this in private. You can go to your car for a few minutes. You can borrow some kids and dance with them. Whatever it is that you need to do to feel safe, to re-empower yourself, please take advantage of that. Now, if you have any questions or if you have any techniques that you found that work great for you in the past, please share them in the comments below. And if you're interested in working with me one on one, you can always visit elevatedaura.com.